Hi everyone, I am Dr. Chitrasan Padi, Associate Professor, School of Agriculture, SR University, Warangal. In this video lecture today, I will tell about the definition of rural development, concept, meaning, and what do you mean by rural development, and various programs launched by Government of Odisha. So, coming to the first slide. So, what do you mean rural development? Rural development is the process of rural development is the process. It consists of all-round development of rural areas in order to view the quality of life of rural people. So basically, all-round development of the rural peoples in order to improve the quality of life, and it is a comprehensive multi-dimensional aspect, comprehensive multi-dimensional aspect, and mainly related to agriculture and allied activities. Allied activities, for example, fishery, livestock, and other activities, horticulture and other activities, and mainly how the development of village and cottage industries, village and cottage industries, and crops, and so how the development of socio-economic infrastructure in the village areas, development of socio-economic infrastructure, socio-economic infrastructure in the village areas, infrastructures, and development of the community services, and what are the facilities available in the rural areas, and about the human resources, development of human resources in the rural areas. So what do you mean by rural development? So rural development is the end result of interactions between various physical. There are various factors like physical, environmental, technological, economic, socio-economic, and institutional factors. So it is the interaction between various physical, then environmental, and technological factors, socio-cultural, because in people, various religions, culture, different sexuality, and socio-cultural factors, and institutional factors. So, in the words of Robert Chambers, you can know that what is rural development? According to Robert Chambers, it is a strategy. It is a strategy to enable a specific group of people, mainly the poor rural men and women, and how they can gain for themselves and children more of what they want and need. Means fulfillment of their want, fulfillment of their want and needs. It has invest people helping the poorest among those who seek a livelihood in the rural areas, who can control more the benefits of rural development. This group includes small scale farmers, tenants in the poor, small scale farmers, tenants in the poor. So what is the aim and objective of rural development? Rural development concept you can see. It aims to improve the livelihoods of rural people, focus on basically equity and how sustainability can be possible in the village areas. And it covers the social and environmental well-being, and it ensures better access to. Rural development means how it can access better access to, better ability to do natural capital. Natural capital means What are the natural capital available? How we can manage the land? How we can manage the water, and how we can manage the forest resources. Then coming to the physical capital, what are the infrastructure available in the physical capital? What are the infrastructure available in the village areas? And what are the infrastructure available in the village areas? What are the various tools available in the village areas? And the development of human capital. Human capital means how people can be better educated and education, and how they can improve in their skills, how the people can be aware of the health status, their health, and how they can improve their health and overall well-being. Then technological means how people can be bettering the more innovations, they can adopt the better innovations, and they can adapt to the modern practices in farming and other livelihood aspects. And coming to social capital, how the people can be improving their network and various institutions, how there is education institutions, religious institutions, and other institutions, how they can link, and any kind of facilities or schemes are coming, how they can, by linking to other institutions, how they can get the proper knowledge and how they can develop themselves. Then coming to the key components and outcomes, how people can access to the essential services like health, extension, credit, health, extension, credit. Then greater control over productive capital like financial, how they can have a control over financial, economic income and credit, how they can better manage the income and credit, how they can be assessing to various economic, for example, assets and investments, and how they can have a better decision-making power, means political, better decision-making power, and what are the outcomes? Improved livelihoods, improved livelihoods, and reduce poverty and inequality, reduce poverty and inequality, and sustainable resource use, and empower rural communities. Empower how people, rural communities can be empowered. Then what are the basic objectives of rural development? Mainly the elevation of poverty, how poverty can be elevated, and unemployment problem can be solved through mainly the basic creation of social and economic infrastructure, economic infrastructure in the village areas, social and economic infrastructure in the village areas, provisional training to rural unemployed youth, training to how rural unemployed youth they can get various kinds of training so they can generate their own income and self-dependent, and providing employment to marginal farmers who are in the villages, who are the marginal farmers, identification of them, and how they can, laborers, how they can get various trainings to discuss migration, because there is a migration, people are migrating for searching a livelihood, they're going to urban. So checking of this migration, in village areas are improved in social way, economic way, and in infrastructure development, people are getting training. So the migration to village areas, migration to urban areas can be checked. Then It is a national necessity. If rural villages are not developed, then the overall development of country is not possible. Because majority of India's population, they're residing in the rural areas. And basically their livelihood depend upon agriculture and allied occupation means like fishery, livestock, horticulture activities, agriculture activities. And to really yes, poverty exists, inequality exists, indebtedness, people are bringing loans from various landlords and other institutions, and landlessness, unemployment, underemployment, how to reduce the rural-urban income disparity. Rural-urban income disparity. That leads to distress among farmers and sought attention from policymakers at various levels. And migration of rural population to urban areas in such a better, they are going for better opportunity. If they are not getting any opportunity in the rural areas, they are going to urban areas for getting the better opportunity. And it is also increasing the burden on urban resources and give rise to urban slum. And bulk of raw materials for industries came from agriculture and rural sector. That is why the growth of industrial and service sector is possible. So people should purchase from the rural area so that the growth of the industrial and service sector is possible during that time. So that is why the development of rural areas is needed because um, it is India continues to land of village communities. Land of village communities. The rural character of India's national economy is reflected in the because the population, maximum population, they are living in the rural areas. That is, development is quite essential. Development is quite essential. And the rural sector contributes to 29% of the gross domestic product. 29% of the gross domestic product, GDP of the country. What are the basic elements of rural development? The basic necessities of life for when people are basic needs. What are the basic needs of human beings? Food, clothing, and shelter. And food, clothing, and shelter, these are basic needs. If these needs are fulfilled, so other need arises. And in addition to basic literacy is important, primary healthcare is important. And also security of life and property is very much important. Security of life and property is very much important. When anyone or all of them are absent or incritically short supply, so there is a absolute underdevelopment exists. If basic literacy is not there, primary health care is not there, and people are not getting proper shelter, clothing, and maximum people are not getting the food, then we can tell that absolute underdevelopment exists. Absolute underdevelopment exists. So that is why the provision of the basic needs of the life to everybody and the primary responsible economies should be there in the rural areas. Then self-respect. Every person, every nation seeks some sort of self-respect. Dignity or honor they require. Dignity or honor they require. Absence of self-respect indicates lack of development and civility. Freedom refers to political or ideological freedom. Political or ideological. Every people want to be free. There should be economic freedom. People want to be self-dependent economically. And freedom for social servitude. And freedom of speech and faith. If freedom is not available, we cannot tell that the goal of development is possible or achievable. Goal of development is possible or achievable. Then various rural development programs launched by the Government of India, the Mahatma National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, MGNREGA, the 2005 Indian law that legally guarantees 100 days of wage employment in a financial year, 100 days of wage employment financial year to every rural household member who are doing to do the unskilled manual work, unskilled manual work, means no use of machines, unskilled manual work, mainly labor works. The Act provides legal protection. They are getting a job card and they're getting the legal protection, and promotes rural employment with men and women receiving equal wages. Men and women both are involved here, and they are getting the equal wages under this law. And works are categorized into mainly water management, agriculture, and rural sanitation. Rural sanitation. Then what is the objective of these programs? To provide employment and livelihood security, employment and livelihood security to rural households, employment and livelihood security to rural households. And this provides a legal guarantee of 100 days of employment in a particular financial year. 100 days of employment in a particular financial year for one member of each rural household who is willing to do unskilled manual labor, unskilled. No examinations, manual labor, if they are interested to do, they can get the job card and they can get the work under this scheme. Where just men and women receive equal wages. And work. Jobs are divided into 10 broad categories. See, water is there, flood management is there, agriculture and livestock works are there, rural drinking water and sanitation. Okay, all these works are there. So the Act was passed first in 2005 and became effective on 2006. Then coming to Dindal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushal Yojana, it was implemented in the year 2024. And this is popularly called as DDU-GKY, DDU, DDU-GKY, Dindal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushal Yojana. And it is a program of the Ministry of Rural Development. And the program mainly focuses on the rural poor youth, and it is focusing on the sustainable development of the people, sustainable employment, so sustainable development, and prominence and incentives given to post-placement tracking, retention, and for career progression. How they can get a training and get the post-placement, tracking them, how they can return in the job, maintain retention in job, and career progression. So DDU-GKY is designed to provide a high quality skill training opportunities to rural people, high quality skill training to the rural poor, and for establishing a larger ecosystem which can support the young people in the areas to get trained and get a better career prospects. And how the rural area people who are poor and they can get a better job opportunity by getting training. They can get a better job opportunities. And regular monthly wages they can get, so that the migration can be checked and they can help other people to live a better life. Then coming to Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, it was launched in 2016. It is a center's flagship mission by the Ministry of Rural Development, MORD, implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. PMAYG, the basic aim is providing a Pakka house with basic amenities to all households, and those are living in Kacha and dilapidated condition. Those are living in Kacha and dilapidated condition, they can get benefit under this scheme. dilapidated condition, they can get facilities under this scheme. It addresses the rural housing shortage, increases the housing deficit in rural areas. It contributes significantly to the mission of housing for all. The main mission of this program is housing for all. For all people can get house under this scheme. Then coming to Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National, it is coming under National Rural Livelihood Mission. Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, the DAY, NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Mission, NRLM, it is a flagship poverty reduction program being implemented by the, it is implemented by the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India to reduce poverty, reduction, and 11 poor households places gainful self, how the people can get the gainful self-employment, and they can get this opportunities, skilled wage employment opportunities that can help for sustainable, and people can get the diversification of livelihoods options for the poor. And DAV NRLM aims to mobilizing rural poor households, mobilizing rural poor households into SHGs, and continuously not how they can get the economic activities till they get the appreciable income, how they are getting the, how they can get the, over a period of years, how they can get the income, appreciable or recognized income over a period of time to reduce the poverty. Then coming to NSAP, it is NSAP means National Social Assistance Program, is a welfare program. It was administered by the MORD, mainly for old age, disabled, and widow. This program was started in the year 1995 and implemented in MORD. It represents a significant step towards the fulfillment of the direct principles in Article 41 and 42 of the Constitution, and recognize that what are the concurrent responsibilities of central and state governments in the matter. In particular, Article 41 of the Constitution of India directs the state to provide basic public assistance to the citizens who are getting unemployment, for old age people, sickness, or disabled people, and in other cases, undeserved want, that is within the limited economic capacity and development. So now you can summarize the whole PPT, whole class we can summarize. So in this video lecture, we should know what is rural development. Basically, the rural development is the economic and social well-being of people, because maximum people of our country remain the rural areas, and how they can utilize the basic resources of the rural areas, utilizing the human resources, man-made resources, and natural resources, how they can utilize better to live a good life, and how they can improve improvement of infrastructure in the village areas can be possible, how more job can be created in the rural areas, and people can get access to basic education and healthcare. That is very much important, because primary needs of people are the food, clothing, shelter. Then other need arises. For example, our other needs like love and belonging needs, self-respect, and self-actualization, all needs arises afterwards. And the main goal is to create a thriving and self-social environment how people can be addressing how disparities can be and how disparities can be addressed with urban areas, and basically helping for the needs of the rural poor. And coming to the purpose of the rural development, mainly the development of agriculture and related activities, village and cottage industries and crafts, socio-economic infrastructure and community services, and what facilities people can get. And what is the basically rural development we discussed actually, it is a strategy to enable a specific group of people for rural environment, how they can get the better education, training, and how their children can be educated, and so that they can fulfill their own needs, they can work to seek a livelihood in the rural areas. And basically coming to the concept, rural development basically aims to improve the livelihoods of rural poor, rural people basically. How equity and equity among the people can be possible, and sustainability in terms of economic development and cultural development can be possible, and basically covering the social and environmental well-being, and how people can access to better resources, like, for example, natural capital, physical capital, human capital, how people can be accessing technological capital, social capital. And basically coming to the other things, like what are the key components outcomes accessing to essential services like education, health, extension, including how people can get better access to extension facilities, how people can be coordinating with various institutions for getting the finances and awareness of finances, and how they can control over the resources like financial resources, in how they can manage their own income for a better living, how can they can access to credit, how they can get access to various assets and investments and political powers, and how they can improve their livelihoods, reducing poverty and inequality, how they can use these resources in a better way. And the basic objective of rural development is the elevation of poverty, and how social and economic infrastructure in the village areas can be possible, how rural youth can be getting the better training to be self-dependent, and also they can start their own revenue generation activities, and how the marginal farmers and laborers can be getting the employment, especially how they can get the daily wages, and so that they cannot go to urban areas. It can help checking the migration. And rural development basically because required because majority of people in the country remain in the rural areas. If their development is possible, in the overall development of the country is possible, if the people in the rural areas are developed. That is why it's going to deal with the issues like poverty, inequality, indebtedness, landlessness, unemployment, underemployment, how to bridge the gap between rural and urban income disparity that leads to distress among farmers. Okay. Then coming to what are the basic elements already discussed. Basic elements of human beings are food, clothing, shelter. Then primary needs are basic literacy, primary health care, and security of life and property. And in addition to these are basic needs, in after these needs are fulfilled, then some other needs are arising. Then people want self-respect, people want freedom, people want freedom from social servitude. They want the economic freedom, they want the political freedom. And coming to various programs by the rural development program by the government of India, this is the first rural development program for providing wage employment to the people. Start in the year 2005, basically how people can get unskilled manual work, and so that the both men and women can get benefit. And I in the past program to provide the 100 days of wage employment in a financial year, and works are categorized. Basically, the people can work in water management, agriculture, and rural sanitation. Then this goal is providing the 100 days of wage employment in a particular financial year. Each member of the household can get a job card. Through the job card, they can approach the Gram Panchayat, and they can get the job throughout the year. And coming to Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushal Yojana, this is a program by the Minister of Rural Development starting 2024, and basically focusing the rural poor youth, how their sustainable employment, sustainable income can be possible through this yojana, and basically high quality skill training they can get so that they can do their in a larger ecosystems, how they can be getting the proper training and to secure a better future. Coming to Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, it was started with MORD, means Minister of Rural Development in 2016, and basically how the Kacha and dilapidated houses who are having, how they get the basic amenities. So all houseless and households can be, they can get the Pakka house. Basically address the rural housing shortage, increase the housing deficit in rural areas of India. So coming to Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission, it is a program of the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India to reduce poverty by enabling poor households to access gainful self-employment and skilled wage employment opportunities, so that they can result in sustainable and diversified livelihoods. Then coming to NSAP, it is a program that is National Social Assistance Program launched in 1995. Basically, it was implemented by the Minister of Rural Development, and mainly it represents a significant step toward the fulfillment of the direct principles. Basically, according to Article 41 and 42 of the Constitution, recognizing the concurrent responsibility of central and state governments in the matter. Mainly, Article 41 of the Constitution directs the state to provide the basic amenities, to provide the basic public assistance to the citizens when they're getting in case of, I mean, these things can be addressed under unemployment, old age people, how can be, they can be benefited, sickness, and how disabled people, they can be benefited. So thank you all. You are fine. Like this video and subscribe. Thank you all once again.